Well, good afternoon. Let's go ahead and call the St. Lucie County School Board regular meeting, October the 10th, 2023, 5 o'clock. It's so good to see everyone here, particularly FK Suite Choir, and we're about to chorus. What do they call? Yeah. But before we go on, if you'd like to be an unscheduled speaker tonight, there are unscheduled speaker forms in the back. Just fill that out and just there's a bin in the front, in the back of this room. And just have that filled out before the consent agenda starts. But before we go any further, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the Kids at Hope, Treasure Hope Pledge. Right now, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Freddie Favors, the chorus director at FK Suite. We appreciate you guys coming out here and leading us in some entertainment.
Thank you very much.
You can do the good, you know. It makes a difference. This much we know. One act of kindness can save one soul. So do the thing you know is right. Then you will see and be the light. Do the good you know. Let compassion show. You can't save the world alone, but you can do the good you know. Yes, you can do the good you know. Where are they? Gisela!
Thank you, Mr. Favors. All right, I do want to thank Francis K. Sweet Magnet School for coming out tonight, and their principal, Miss Brome, and assistant principal, Miss Lewis. Thank you all for coming out and supporting. And if you're a parent and these are your children, please stand. Thank you all so much for coming out at 5 o'clock to support our meeting. Right now, as we're making a transition, I'm going to turn this over to the superintendent, and we're going to go ahead and have special orders of business.
At this time, I'd like to welcome our Chief Communications Officer, Miss Lydia Martin, for some special recognitions.
Good evening, Chairman Ingersoll, board members, Superintendent Dr. Prince. Samuel S. Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies was recently recognized as a nationally certified magnet school by Magnet Schools of America. These schools are leading examples of magnet school excellence. These schools provide outstanding learning opportunities for their students. Magnet Schools of America's National Institute for Magnet School Leadership developed this certification program in 2016 as a roadmap for magnet schools to reach their fullest potential. Schools are assessed on the Magnet School Standards of Excellence and the 5 pillars of magnet schools. Certification applicants submit detailed examples of their work to promote diversity, remove barriers to student success, and implement an innovative curriculum, as well as encourage parent and community partnerships in their schools. Becoming a certified magnet school is an extensive, rigorous process that helps these schools strengthen their top qualities and gain national recognition for their success. At this time, I'd like to invite Keith Davis, principal, forward to make a few comments, as well as his team to accept the award.
All right, this is an awesome idea here. We are very satisfied. As the principal of Gaines Academy, I would like to first thank my team for joining me up. I have my assistant principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, and Ms. Powers, which is my coach, who took the lead in making sure things were gathered and put in place. Very proud of St. Lucie County and putting us on the map. We were one of 63 schools chosen. Overall, it's a total of about 245 magnet schools. So we're definitely moving in the right direction with Gaines, and we're just very proud on demonstrating our hard work. So thank you.
All right, congratulations. The Port St. Lucie Sunset Rotary Club handed out copies of a Constitution booklet to local 7th graders. They are adding more and more schools every year. This year, the schools that received them were Manatee Elementary, St. Lucie West K-8, Westgate, and Palm Point. They distributed a total of 1,200 books during Constitution Week, September 12th through the 23rd. I'd like to invite Jeanette Weiss, Rotary Club President, to accept the award, along with her colleagues, to the podium.
Good evening, Chair Ingersoll, excuse me, school board members, and Superintendent Prince. It's an honor for us to be here this evening, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity. The presentation that we're going to make is a canvas painting that was commissioned by former Navy SEAL Chris Bent as a show of support for the Constitution for the People organization. Mr. Bent was assigned to command the recovery units for Gemini 6 and 7, as well as Apollo AS-201. Mr. Bent became the first person to touch an Apollo spacecraft returning to Earth. Mr. Prince, may we present this canvas to you at this time, as well as booklets to all the school board members? Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Kevin Perry to the podium, who will recognize the Bluebird Education Foundation.
Chairman Ingersoll, school board members, Superintendent Prince. Each year, many students find their niche in a music class, and some of them join band. They learn collaboration, discipline, and a foreign language, just to name a few. Along the way, some of them decide that they know that they need their very own instruments because they could excel and be more proficient. That's where Bluebird Educational Foundation steps in. Each year, many of our community members donate used instruments to the recycling in the key of E, the key of education, better known as Reich. The foundation refurbishes those instruments and then donates them to students who are demonstrating great musicianship and dedication to the art of music. Tonight, Bluebird Education is donating instruments, about 17 instruments valued at approximately $9,000. I'll also add that Bluebird is providing a workshop for the Westwood High School Jazz Band on December 1st, 2023. We're joined tonight by President Darrell Bay and board members David Gordon, Janet Rossler, and Gerald Wilcox. Would you join me, please? We'd also like to give a special thank you to Melody Music, Music Man 2, Fort Pierce Utilities Authority, Dominant Music, and Acme Winds, who partner with Reich to make all of this happen. So let's donate some instruments to some deserving students. From Oak Hammock, their very awesome teacher, Ms. Eisenhower. Eighth grade student, Linda Barzey, receiving a clarinet tonight. Yeah, that first set, Lydia. Elijah Barzey, seventh grade, receiving a trumpet tonight. We're getting organized again. Casey Landaverde, receiving a trombone tonight. Young lady. You're gonna go up here and get your picture taken, okay? Alicia Adderley, receiving a clarinet, sixth grade. And Ashley Acosta Diaz, sixth grade, receiving a clarinet tonight. From Northport, Ms. Cletter's students, Fabian Limo, seventh grade, receiving a clarinet. Nico Arbia, eighth grade, receiving a flute. Garens Petit Ferrer, receiving a flute, seventh grade. And Kaylee Marcasio, sixth grade, receiving a flute, all from Northport.
Let's take two pictures. So
Okay.
we'll do this.
So we ready? Continuing on from Samuel Gaines Academy, Principal Keith Davis. Mr. Reed is the principal. Mr. Reed, come on up. Cynthia Rayos, 6th grade, receiving a flute. Elena Kendrick, 7th grade, clarinet. Julianne Santiago, 8th grade, trombone. Leon McLeod, 6th grade, alto saxophone. Brita De Jesus, 7th grade, trumpet. Uriel Hernandez, 7th grade, trumpet. Daniel Garcia, 7th grade, alto saxophone. And from Southern Oaks Middle School, Miss Drayton is an awesome band director there. Caro Aye Yanada. I messed it up. And Alexia Lopez, 8th grade, clarinet. I messed it all up. Congratulations to all of these students. If you're a parent of these music students, please stand so we can recognize you as well. All parents of these music students. We're blessed to work in an arts-rich district, and we thank you all for your support.
All right, at this time, we're going to move on to our Star Awards for this month. First, we have Nicole Ansowitz, who is the registrar at St. Lucie West Centennial High School. She was nominated by Susan Mannion, the assistant principal there. Miss Mannion states, Miss Ansowitz goes above and beyond at Centennial. In addition to being a bright, smiling face for all of our new students, she assists other staff members in their roles whenever she is needed. Our front office procedures run more efficiently thanks to her input. She has also taken on the role of the McKinney-Vento liaison for our school and transformed her office into an area that the McKinney-Vento students can come and pick up anything they need: breakfast items, personal hygiene products, academic supplies. Ms. Ansowitz is an incredible asset to Centennial. Ms. Ansowitz, please come forward and congratulate. Oh, you are already up there. Congratulations. All right, congratulations. Next, we have Joy Gardner, who is the TSA Dean at Chester A. Moore Elementary, nominated by Principal Dr. Thelma Jackson. She states that Ms. Gardner strategically synergizes her instructional and behavioral expertise with community connections to implement several signature programs. First, she developed and implemented a school-wide mentoring program, training staff and assigning them to their I Succeed students, ensuring their neediest students have access to a caring adult. Second, she supports their AVID initiative and the School Advisory Council through her procurement of monthly guest speakers who provide college and career readiness seminars, and also serves on their SAC. Ms. Joy Gardner is a phenomenal employee, most deserving of this award. Congratulations. All right. Next, we have Recaville Johnson, who is a bus driver. He drives bus 3750 and was nominated by Assistant Principal Lauren Giesler at White City Elementary. She stated she wanted to nominate him because he is always at dismissal on time, even if it's hot and hectic. He always takes the time to ensure she always takes her time to ensure students and other Wildcats are placed on the correct bus, even when faced with split routes. They are appreciative of her kind spirit. Congratulations. Is she here? No. Okay. And last but certainly not least, Linda Nelson, attendance clerk at Southport Middle School. If you can come forward, there she is. Congratulations, nominated by Matthew Roy, assistant principal. States that Linda Nelson is an all-around team player, helps out in any way that she can, and often doesn't even need to be asked. She's very observant and will offer help when she sees that she could be of assistance. In addition to her normal duties, she is the chairperson for the School Advisory Council. She builds close relationships with community members, organizes SAC meetings, and helps to advertise their SAC meetings. When Linda is in charge, they know everything is going to get done well. Congratulations, Linda. All right, and that concludes our special orders of business for this evening.
All righty, moving forward, we're going to have the ESOL report. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman Ingersoll, board members, Superintendent Prince. I just have a short report for us this morning. It is, of course, as always, the union's hope that we will have good news to report at the conclusion of our negotiations, especially regarding compensation across all three of our bargaining units. In the meantime, I'd like to take just a few minutes to talk and remind us all of how critical it is that we retain our current employees. We seem to spend much of our time discussing how to recruit new educators and support personnel to St. Lucie, and that is extremely important. I'm not going to minimize the importance of recruitment, as we are competing for high-quality educators and education support professionals, not only in our own county, but across the state and nationally as well. I am concerned, however, that we spend an incredible amount of time discussing recruitment of new employees and far too little time discussing how to keep the quality educators and professionals we already have here in our ranks. In recent years, the state has perpetuated this problem with short-sighted programs such as TSIA funding and far too little other funding to fairly compensate our support professionals. I'm going to have faith in both of our negotiating teams to discuss how best to provide fair compensation and to correct years of this heavy-handed intrusion from the state when it comes to our pay scales. Let's remember for a moment that an environment where we are facing historic teacher shortages and support staff shortages across our state, any one of our employees could quit tomorrow and have a job lined up in another school district, probably before Halloween. These are people on the front lines, on our buses, in the offices, clinics, and in classrooms. These are the people who nurture our students, provide instruction, and keep us safe. These are the people doing the work that generates the successes that we are all proud to share. I want you to think for a minute about some things that we can do to make better working environments for everybody. An environment that encourages people to stay here in St. Lucie instead of going elsewhere. Things that potentially cost the district nothing, but may mean everything to someone in the trenches. Perhaps relaxing a dress code so that a teacher, clerk, or para might be more comfortable working instead of clinging to outdated ideas, or even worse, selling them the privilege of dressing comfortably at work. This would cost us nothing. Perhaps it means asking an administrator to cover classes 1 or 2 days a month instead of doubling up classes, or asking that an already overworked paraprofessional or clerk once again to cover classes, compressing their workload. That costs nothing. Perhaps a little less bossing and a little more leading, a little more autonomy for our professionals, fewer directives, but more guidance. Our educators are professionals and should be treated as such. That is what keeps people in their jobs, and it costs nothing. Perhaps it means providing the union a seat at the table the way it used to be done, so that we can share our members' views before new policies are rolled out. Not to stop the policies, but to make them better for teachers and support professionals. That way, our members and educators across the district feel things are being done with them instead of to them. A seat at the table costs nothing. Before I left the office this afternoon, I did a very quick impromptu Facebook poll, and I asked our members to list one thing that the district, immediate supervisors, or their administrators could do to keep them here in St. Lucie. The responses were overwhelming in a very short amount of time. Most of them I've already covered. Many more I'll share with you all tomorrow. In any case, we need to work smarter and control the things that we can control in order to create a better work environment. We need to work just as hard to keep the outstanding people that we have here, just as much as we are working to attract new people. Remember, our educators' work environments are the students' learning environments. Money is one important way to keep people here in St. Lucie, but a great working environment is another, and it costs nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. CWA report? Nice to see you tonight, Ms. Vickers.
Well, good to see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm Arthur Vickers. Mr. Ingersoll and Dr. Prince. We went to the table today and we did sign up, but we wanted more money. But they say that it wasn't no more money. So I guess I'm hoping, praying next year you all can do better. Because we didn't get the 26% what we asked for now. But they say the lowest one will be 3.5. I guess you can't get blood out of rock. So next year we looking for a better increase. And Mr. Ingersoll rode my bus this week. He beat Ms. Richardson to the punch. But I told him he can't stop from just riding my bus. He got to ride the bus with the problem, because I don't have the problem. Because I drive a ESC bus. It's no mean that I tried to do my best on my job. And so I'm going to tell a little story. I told him that I think I'm gonna have to ride him up when he rode my bus that day. He to the railroad crossing. I said, Mr. Ingersoll, I'm gonna have to write you up if you don't be quiet. I'm to the railroad crossing now. She said, okay. So I think he need to ride more bus to know that you have to be quiet to the railroad crossing. So I enjoy him and Mr. Prince, my boss, but I want you all to ride the bus with the problem children. And then you will have a different view of the bus driver. See, Dr. Mill, she used to drive bus with me. So she know how it go. So, and Miss Holly, she rode with me. But I want you all to ride the bus and just see how the children react on the bus. Because when they act up and don't respect the bus driver or the aide, they need some days off the bus. And the parent need to bring them to school. A lot of people say, well, the parent don't have a way to get them to school. Well, the parents should help the children make sure that children mind the bus driver, the teacher, and everybody in charge. You know, from the old school, that if you act up, during my time, you had to walk to school if you act up. So maybe one day Dr. Prince will ride the bus. You can ride my bus, Dr. Prince. Don't have a
You
problem.
can ride her bus, but I can't. I'm afraid she might make me walk.
No, you are already rode my bus, so you ride somebody else's bus.
Ms. Vickers, the line is long to get on your bus, so I would be happy to take you up on that challenge. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's all I have, and next year, don't forget the compensation part, because we need more money, because everything's gone up. The rent, everything going up but the wages. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Vickers. I think I got the hang of it after the third railroad track. But Mrs. Vickers, after my volleyball season's over, after coaching, and by the way, you forgot, I did ride the bus Friday afternoon with the girls, Fort Pierce Central Volleyball down to West Palm Beach. Remember that? No, I wasn't. I was with, yep. I was the chaperone. I did not drive. The regular children. But she forgot that I'm a bus driver. I shocked her. I said, Miss Vickers, I got my CDL license. I'm a bus driver. So moving on, we got Mrs. Sigmund, St. Lucie Public Youth Advisory Council. Good to see you this afternoon.
Thank you, Chairman Ingersoll and the board, and of course, Dr. Prince. He might not be very good on a bus, but he is very good at driving the golf cart. So the meeting the Youth Advisory Council held this month was very productive, and we had a lot of great feedback from the representatives about their school's efforts to bring back school spirit after the long fight for normalcy after COVID. One issue that came up during the meeting was how the removal of AP classes has left holes in student schedules, causing multiple issues across different schools that are slowly being resolved. The biggest issue we discussed during the meeting was the blocked websites this year. Thankfully, COO Terrence O'Leary addressed the blocked websites. He explained that the websites were blocked because they're run from different countries, and this is to protect our students and their personal information. Another issue high schools are facing this year is the overwhelming number of students tardy for class. Port St. Lucie High School has been combating this issue with something they like to call bell rings, door swings, where after the bell rings, they close the doors and everyone left in the hallway gets a detention. Very nice. I have not gotten one, by the way. Just want to make that clear. And they have reported to see a very big decrease in students tardy for class. They brought this to the council so other schools could come up with something similar to solve the issue. We have also nominated the members of the Communication Committee. This committee runs the Youth Advisory Council Instagram page. Another thing we accomplished during the meeting was we nominated the nomination committee for the vice chairperson. We plan to choose the vice chairperson during the November meeting. This meeting will be held at Centennial on the 6th of November. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Sigmund. And you forgot to mention my chaperoning skills, too.
He sleeps through all the musicals.
Oh, come on. I knew that was going to happen.
I have a picture of you sleeping through our musical.
Okay, moving on. We're going to move to consent agenda. Board members, if I can get the adoption of the consent agenda.
So moved.
I got a motion. I got a second. Discussion? Seeing none. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Superintendent, can I get your recommendation, please?
I recommend the board approve the consent agenda as submitted.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I got a motion and a second. I got a second from Ms. Hawley. Any discussion? Seeing none. Those in favor? Aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Superintendent, can I get your report, please?
Okay, a couple things. First of all, I want to recognize the public comments by our union partners, CWA and EASL. We did sign an LOU today. I want to congratulate our negotiating team and CWA, and I would agree, Martha, to your point, you know, all of our employees are underpaid. And I just also wanted to recognize, too, that one of the challenges we have, and I just want to make sure that the board and also the public understands this, especially with CWA, we were really hamstrung by the minimum wage requirement, was raised to $15 an hour, which we are not given additional funds for. Last year, we saw a significant number of our employees that were not making $15 an hour get a significant pay raise because of that legal requirement. It was the commitment of the board, and it was our commitment to look at the salary schedules that were most compressed by that. For instance, like food service, where folks that had been with us for 16, 17 years were not making much more than $15 an hour, to make sure we tended to those specific job groups. We can't fix it all at once, but we wanted to make sure that we had a commitment, that we wanted to address salary compression, and that's what we did on the CWA side. So I want to thank, our commitment is to always offer fair, competitive wages for our employees, and I completely understand. Your lens is from a bus driver. There's not a single employee in our system that has an easy job. Public education is a very challenging business. I will tell you this, that I have ridden on buses in the past. I spent my career 31 years in public education. There have been many times I've had to get on a bus route as a school administrator because of problematic students, routes, groups of kids. I'd also like to add, there are many times that I've actually watched bus video to our friends that are our bus drivers, and I've seen that behavior for myself. We are addressing that. We have a commitment to make sure our bus routes are safe. We're adding 28 additional bus aides to make sure that we're adding those to problematic routes. And we want to make sure that our employees know that their safety and security is our priority. And we've ponied up for that. So I just want the public to understand, and also our bus drivers to understand, that is our commitment. And we understand the job that you do, because you're the first interface that we have with our kids in the morning, and that sets the tone for the day, that ride on the bus to the school. So I know how important that is, and I want to thank you once again for your years of service, Martha. I think 46, 47 years you've been doing this, so I want to say thank you very much.
And Mary, too.
Yes, and Mary as well. We're continuing our union negotiations with our other group, ESOL, tomorrow. Hopefully that will continue to work successfully. Once again, our commitment is to make sure all of our employees are compensated fairly, and not just recruitment. We had our ESOL partner talk about retention. Since I've been here, we've talked with the Executive Director of Human Resources. It was called the Department of Recruitment and Retention, and we literally inverted that. We call it the Recruitment of Retention and Recruitment, because it's more important for us to keep our employees than hire new ones. And that has been a priority that's been here for the last 8 years, and we will continue to do that. I've got some good news to add. We had some of our principals today. I want to say, first of all, our Principal of the Year nominee, or for the St. Lucie County Public Schools, Keith Davis. Stand up real quick, Keith. October is National Principals Month, and we are celebrating those exceptional leaders each and every day. You'll see that on our website as it scrolls through. Our Assistant Principal of the Year is Aisha Boria. She was recognized with our Party Patrol. And once again, Sam Gaines continues to rock it. Sam Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies it was basically selected for a recognition of a school exceeding expectations, and it was one of 35 schools selected out of 3,500 eligible schools to receive that recognition. And that goes straight to your leadership and your culture building, Keith. I want to congratulate you. Do an amazing job. But wait, there's more. Board members, I would encourage you, one thing that I really wanted in our hallways of our school district offices, that when you walk into our hallways, I want it to feel like a school, that we're about kids. And if you go through any of our hallways now, our Chief of Communications, we've been adding large images, and that will continue to grow. I think the hallways look fantastic. I want to attribute Lydia and her team for doing that. I challenged them. We brought some ideas together. They came to me with a proposal, and it looked absolutely fantastic, and I gave her the go-ahead to continue to do that. I wanted to say Friday is the end of the 9 weeks. Finish strong out there, students and teachers. We have the annual Free Heart Screening for students aged 5 to 20. That's the Jessica Clinton MVP Foundation through the Health Department. That's going to be November 4th from 8 to 4:30. Appointments, you can go on our website at 772-215-1912. That is a life-saving opportunity in some instances for parents to take advantage of that screening. We also have our 24th Annual Evening for Education Gala, hosted by the St. Lucie County Education Foundation. That's also November 4th from 6 to 9, and tickets can be online or by calling the Ed Foundation at 772-429-5505. I want to thank FK Suite. I know they already exited, to you stage left, to me stage right, but Freddie Favors and the FK Chorus. You know, I can tell you this, we're all about kids, and there was no better job in the system for me as being a school principal. You know, seeing kids, I never had a bad day. There were bad situations, but I never had a bad day. And even right now, my daughter is attending one of our local high schools, and it's homecoming season, it's football games, it's homecoming court, it's volleyball, it's all the athletics, the fall activities that are going on. And schools are really good places, and it's a time to celebrate. And I wanted to make sure that we all finish strong safely this 9 weeks, and students come to school. And not just students come to school each and every day, but our teachers come to school each and every day. Lastly, I would be remiss as a father if I did not do a quick shout out to a birthday girl, and that is my daughter Meredith, who turned 15 years old today. And I was at the DMV getting a learner's permit this morning. So with that being said, that concludes my remarks, Mr. Ingersoll.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Prince. Today we have Mr. Glenn Tersivia with the Tersivia Law Firm, and I appreciate you filling in as an interim for us today. Thank you so much. Do you have a report?
No real report other than glad to be here. And Dr. Prince, you are at DMV this morning with a 15-year-old getting a learner's permit. May God bless you.
The wait was not bad, Mr. Torcivia. The wait was not bad.
Excellent. We're going to go ahead and move on to school board members' report. Let's go ahead and take a recommendation on 19.1, appointment of Citizen Advisory Committee member. Who would like to make that recommendation for me? Need a motion? I got a motion from Ms. Holly. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do we have discussion? Seeing none. Those in favor is aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we need to discuss the school board attorney search. The plan is to have an attorney firm to put out an RFP per se, opportunity for attorneys to come and solicit their organization to work for us as a board attorney, and collect resumes and carry on the process. I am not familiar with this process, so we need to discuss this a little bit, but I was hoping that maybe Ms. Holly, since she's done it in the past, would be able to carry this process on for us and work with the superintendent and bring us to the next level. Board members, do we have any discussion or?
Yes, Mr. Ingersoll, we definitely have a discussion on this. I know that we received a resignation letter from our attorney regarding resigning, but I have since done a little bit of investigating myself, and there is some background by this. Our representatives, our attorneys, are telling me they really don't want to resign, and that they basically was forced to resign. There was a letter that you sent without board realizing what was going on. I had no idea that there was a problem that I believe you basically have had. I don't know if any other board members have had a problem with our attorney, but there was a letter that said on behalf of the board. You opened up your letter saying it was on behalf of the board, and I knew nothing about it as a board member. I know that we have to make sure that we discuss things in the sunshine.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that is why I'm bringing it up. I don't want to go into a lot of detail about it, but I'm definitely not ready to move on to a search until we get some more clarification. As I said, I had no idea, and yet I was included as, I believe I'm a board member here, so I was included as on behalf of my, what happened with this company is they're saying you basically was going to terminate them. So I don't want to go into any further discussion now. What I would like the board to consider is that we as a board make this decision and that we at least know what happened. As a board member, I should not be left in the dark of what happened. If indeed we do need to move on, then we will do so. But I do not want to do it in this manner. I want to have openness about this and see what happened and be very fair in our approach to dealing with this particular law firm. They've been with us for a very long time. And again, like I said, the only reason why I believe that they wanted to resign was because they were basically told you was going to ask us to terminate or to no longer use their service as of November. So I'm uncomfortable with this. And I'm asking the board if we can come together and have a meeting under sunshine to discuss this further before we move any further. And I would not mind meeting immediately, as soon as possible. I don't want to use this time to do that, but I can be available at any time, including this time if necessary.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any other discussion?
Yes, I understand where you're coming from, Dr. Mills. I got a call from Ms. Molly. I don't know if anybody else did. Can I ask if anybody else
Got a call
from
who?
our attorney? Anybody else?
I talked with her.
Yeah, she
I
called me.
talked to I talked to the owners.
Okay, I did speak with her in maybe 5 minutes, and she didn't give me that impression in any way, shape, or form. Said that she enjoyed her time working with us, and that told me basically that they weren't going to work for us anymore, didn't want to, or whatever. Now, here's the thing, Dr. Mel. I understand what you're saying. You're being fair. The problem is, this is supposed to be a big-name attorney firm, and if I have an attorney that was intimidated by the letter that they sent him, intimidated to that point, I don't want them serving my school district. That's all I'm going to say. I think you understand what I'm saying.
That was the whole purpose. I don't want to go that way.
Okay, I know, I'm just giving you speaking for myself.
I understand, I understand.
I didn't think it was intimidation. I think it was just you were giving them information. And then they resigned, so I have a problem with how
Yes.
strong that group would be, you know?
Yeah.
Well, each of us did.
Mr. Kelly, I appreciate it, but
Each
that
of
was,
us did receive the same letter. And we received the letter that Chairman Choi wrote them. And we did not get that information until after that letter was sent to them. And that letter clearly said, I'm going to ask the board to not redo your contract. And so that can be very intimidating. And then to say on behalf of the board. Now, I said I wasn't going to discuss it, but it looked like we need to discuss it now because I'm very uncomfortable with just, I want to know more. I don't want to be as a board member as if I'm not important in this process. And like one person is controlling this board and we're not given everybody has the same power on this board. Each of us have the same power. We're board members. We need to be respected as board members and not go over our head with saying that you're doing something in behalf of the board when the board knows nothing about it. That's all I'm saying. So I think we just need to really have some sort of time that we can sit and discuss this a little further. If not now, in the real near future, so we can make that decision on whether or not we're going to move on. But don't negate me as a board member and then say on behalf of me, you're doing something. That is not something that I approve of.
Dr. Mills, again, I appreciate what you're saying, and maybe I didn't explain it properly. I need to say this. For a firm like that to feel that they needed to resign, they must have felt they did not have I don't know, they didn't get it from me. Because I would have to, like you, I want the board to meet, and I want to hear why somebody would vote against or for. So I appreciate 100% what you're saying. But for a firm to feel that they don't have the confidence of the board already, without even going to that meeting, I don't have a lot of confidence in the firm now. That's all, and I appreciate everything you said.
When you say on behalf of the board, that does say something to a group.
May I say something, Dr. Mills? So, in reference to their intention not to resign or whatever, they had absolutely no intention on October the 2nd to resign. And I quote, "I'm writing to follow up on the email below and our subsequent conversation. After our call, I met internally with our firm to discuss." Good afternoon, Chairman Ingersoll. And this is from Mr. Harmon, Terry Harmon of the firm. And he says, "I'm writing to follow up on the email below and our subsequent conversation. After our call, I met internally with our firm to discuss the issue. Again, we have truly appreciated the opportunity to serve the board over the past several years in various capacities. While we consider various options or considered various options during our internal firm meeting, we emerged committed to continuing to serve as the school board's legal counsel regarding the October 10th, 23 meeting. Mrs. Shaddock will be there at the meeting to serve as the school board's legal counsel. We certainly respect any actions that the school board may take with respect to our legal representation agreement. However, I strongly believe that Ms. Shattuck and the rest of our firm have delivered on our commitment to meeting the needs of the school board. So at that time, they had no intention of resigning. This was October the 2nd. On October 3rd, we received that letter to say that they were resigning. So something happened between October 2nd and October 3rd that would trigger this or force this resignation. But before that, Mr. Ingersoll sent out an email, and this is the email to which Dr. Mills is referring, to Mr. Harmon to say, on behalf of the school board of St. Lucie County, Florida, this letter constitutes notice to Sniffen and Spellman that at the regularly scheduled school board meeting on October 10th, 2023, I intend to bring to a vote the non-renewal of the legal representation agreement approved by the school board on November 9, 2021. Thank you for your legal counsel that was provided by Molly L. Shattuck, Esquire, as school board attorney throughout the years. So that's the letter to which Dr. Mills is referring. And then this was sent on September 14th. On September 17th, Sunday, September 17th, I opened my email to email from Mr. Ingersoll saying that he had sent this. So it was like, as Dr. Mills mentioned, this letter was sent prior to the board even knowing that this letter was sent, because we were notified, I was notified, that this letter was sent on Sunday, October 17th, and this was without any prior knowledge or discussions or any, I was shocked when I saw this letter with the email that it was sent. So, I don't know exactly what transpired. And my question is really to Mr. Ingersoll, what prompted you to send this email? I mean, did the attorney do something? Is there something that we are not privy to? What happened? And I think this is what Dr. Mills is alluding to, why did this happen? And that's what I think we need to get an answer to. What happened to initiate this without the board's consent or a consensus or knowledge, or what happened?
Yes, ma'am, I definitely have some answers, and I appreciate you reading my letters. I'm glad I wrote them.
My pleasure.
And I do apologize on saying behalf of the board. But number one, Mr. Harmon is a good man, and his attorney firm is good. And I appreciate the work that they do for St. Lucie County, not only here at the school board, legal counsel, but also for our ESC department, and works with Barbara Sadika. So I wanted to make sure that that relationship held firm. And Ms. Shattuck is an excellent attorney. But I felt that we needed to go in a different direction. Their contract is renewed in November. So I wanted to bring it before the board for an opportunity for us to have a discussion. But before I wanted to do that, I emailed the attorney's firm to make sure that they had an opportunity to know that this is what I was going to do, because I didn't want to air anything out in public. I wanted to appreciate the year that they served with us, Mrs. Mills, Dr. Mills, so that this would not happen, so that the community would not hear anything negative but positive about the opportunity that they did and served us. So I talked to them. He received my letter, and actually he called me back on the Monday before our school board workshop. And he told me, he did an exit interview with me. He understood where I stood. And I said, you're more than welcome to call other board members, because I was going to put it on the agenda. And he goes, if that's the way you feel, I said, you can talk to other board members. And they felt that they were going to go ahead and resign. Something happened between the 2 weeks. They decided not to. I sent an email asking for please confirm. I called them once. I asked them another email, and he called me back at 7:50 Monday night. And the purpose of the urgency is that this wouldn't go to the agenda like this, that it wouldn't come to a vote. And then when I rediscussed it with him for about an hour, we talked about it, and then 8 o'clock in the morning, he sent a letter saying that they decided not to really seek employment with St. Lucie County Schools. That's how it went.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ingersoll, but I'm not sure that I got an answer to what happened, what triggered, what did Molly, Attorney Shattuck do? Why, what's the difference?
Mrs. Richardson, this is the purpose of why they stepped down. They didn't want us to have this discussion. So right now, we have an attorney firm that has stepped down.
No, Mr. Ingersoll, you have the floor. Go ahead, please finish.
But
I mean, we need to move
but we
on.
are the board. You're not the board by yourself. So we should know what happened. What's your reasoning for wanting not to renew their contract? Because you were the one that initiated possibly bringing it to the board. Not possibly. You told them that you were going to bring it to the board meeting. So what transpired? That's what Ms. Richardson is asking you, because we should know. Up under sunshine is the only time we can talk. So we need to talk it out now, since we've gotten to this point. I was trying to get us to have another meeting up under sunshine where it would be more private. But regardless of how we do it, we must do it right. And so this attorney's office is only resigning because of the original letter that you sent out. That's been made very clear to me, and it sounded like from what you were saying, it was basically y'all went back and forth and they really did not want to resign. But because they did not want it to air out like this. But I'm a board member. I'm going to air out what I need to air out for the sake of what I believe is for the good of the people. So if I need to air it out, whether they want me to air it out or not, the point is that something happened that didn't quite happen the way it should have. We should have come together as a board up under sunshine and discuss, and even if we had to bring Ms. Molly in, attorney in, to say what your issue might have been, what somebody else's issue might have been, and gave them the opportunity to correct whatever it is. But we still are we still don't know what happened. And that's the point that I'm making. We should, as a board, know what's going on so that we can all make a decision, and it's not just laying on one person, or one person feel as if they have the authority to control whoever. So that is where I'm coming from. I want to know too. And you still haven't said you don't want to air it out, bring it out. Maybe we should go ahead and call another meeting quickly so that if we do need to move forward, we can move forward. If we need to go back to the people that we already have representing us, and I don't know, shame in my game to say there was a misunderstanding or what have you, we didn't realize, we didn't know, we still don't know what happened. And you don't seem like you want to say it right now, so.
Well, the deal is again, whether we meet in sunshine or not, it's still going to be public, it's still going to be open, and what good is it going to accomplish? Unless you want to take a vote again, it's a
We have to meet under sunshine. It's
I
the
know,
law.
that's what I'm saying, that's the law. That's the law.
So we're under sunshine now. So, and we need to know what happened. What made you make this
I think
decision?
it was quite a few events that led up to this, and I was looking at it, and I said, I think this is an opportunity for us to make a direction. I saw the representation that happened in another county that concerned me. I saw some issues here where communication wasn't appropriate. I saw I'm trying to not pinpoint it so it. I saw board members frustrated here quite a few times. And I think this was the direction that we needed to go. Dr. Mills, you yourself said you were frustrated.
Yeah, but not to the point of termination or telling people that I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and bring it before the board for a vote not to renew your contract. And if you're talking about and I know you don't want to go into detail with that, but if you're talking about what I think you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Then, you got your way from the attorney. So what's the problem with that?
As I don't think you felt comfortable with it.
Okay, so then why didn't you come to me and to this board?
Because it's
and let
under
us-
sunshine.
And let us, that's what I'm saying. You call a meeting under
I called a
sunshine.
meeting to say, hey, this is what I'm going to bring up.
No,
But
That's what the letter of intent is.
But that was after the fact, Mr. Ingersoll.
After
You
the
had
fact of
already
what? I'm
made
supposed
a
to talk to you and
decision.
say, hey, I want to talk about the attorney, and then I'm going to send her a letter letting her know that I want to talk about her?
No, but we have the meeting first, Mr. Ingersoll. We have a meeting first. We come to a decision, and then you send the letter. I think the cart went before the horse in this instance.
Mr. Chairman, if I could have a minute. You did nothing wrong, okay? You did everything the way you're supposed to. To ask somebody why they voted or why they have the way they are, you vote the way you vote, just like you say. You're on the thing, and we have
Give
5
me the
people.
opportunity to vote.
Okay, well, you know what? It
Didn't
was
give
going to
me
be,
the opportunity to vote.
if I could,
That's the
it was scheduled to be on the agenda. And he told me it was scheduled. Really, that's what it was. And the same thing could happen here, and there could be a vote. They decided they didn't have the confidence when it was on the vote that they were going to, and they might have got a good vote. I never said to Ms. Shattuck I had a problem with her, but because they decided to do this, they quit. Therefore, they quit. That's it. It's a no-brainer for me. When the discussion is done, when everybody's done, you did nothing wrong, Mr. Chairman. You did what you were supposed
He
to do.
said,
You let them know
in
it
behalf
was.
of the board,
Yeah.
in behalf of the board, I knew nothing, this board member knew nothing about it. Anybody else talking up that's from Sunshine? Anybody in the dark somewhere? Because I knew nothing about it. He said on behalf of the board. So who is he talking about? On behalf of what board? What
He's the-
board members? None of
he's-
us knew about
He's the
it.
chairman. He can
No.
say that.
No, I'm
Have the
sorry.
right to do that.
Chairman?
He is the chairman.
yeah.
However,
Ma'am,
based on the protocols that was voted on, okay, the board chairman will serve as the spokesperson for the board at events. When serving as the spokesperson or when providing public statements on behalf of the board corporate, the chairman will represent only those perspectives that has been publicly discussed and agreed upon.
That's what
Okay,
I'm
that's
saying.
that's in the protocol.
job of the
This
chairman.
was not discussed or agreed upon. So yes, I'm going to have to disagree with you, Mr. Kelly, that Chairman Ingersoll
Not his job.
did not do according to.
Yes, he did, and I'm going to have to disagree with you, ma'am.
well,
and you.
then we're going to
There's
agree
something
to
very
disagree.
surreptitious here because you are both acting like there was something done
We're not going there,
surreptitiously
Mr. Kelly.
wrong.
We're good.
I'm done. I don't like never mind.
Well, I'm sorry, but when we need to do the right thing.
We need to do the
And
right
this is the only time we can have this conversation. If that letter had not gone out without the board's consent or with the board's knowledge, everything would have been okay. But this letter went out and then the board was notified. So there is where I have an issue. I have a problem because this is not a one-man show. The chairman it says here, neither the board chairman nor the vice chairman has greater authority than any other school board member.
That's the point
Okay?
that I'm making. We should have all been aware of what was going to happen because we had a discussion under Sunshine that we could have come together and do like we do with everything else, and then discuss it. Maybe we would have maybe several of us would have said, yeah, let's move on. But the point is that the chairman, Ms. Jennifer Richardson, said it very clearly. She had them, that's from the state, that's legislation that she just read.
This is the protocol
That's
that we
but no,
agreed
but I'm
upon.
saying, when I
Okay.
go online and I look at what is the job of a chairman.
Okay, yes.
That is what it says the job
Yeah.
of a chairman is.
It also says here that the board chairman has the authority to individually call special meetings of the board. So, there are so many other options and ways that this could have been addressed to make sure that we did not end up in this place. And so we are in this place, and it just needs to be rectified. Because I don't know, personally speaking, that we can move forward in hiring another attorney when we still have questions. My question is still unanswered, because I do not know why the attorney was sent this letter.
It's getting totally redundant.
Yep.
Same thing over and over. You have your opinion, you're entitled to. I have mine. He did nothing wrong.
That's okay. Ms. Hawley, do you have anything to say?
Well, I actually was out of the country when when the email.
My timing is impeccable.
So I came home to that. I do want to acknowledge, however, that in November, it would have been a discussion with the reorg and all of that, and November would have been a discussion time. So perhaps we should table this until that November normal time and have the discussion then. I can say, I don't know what led up to it either, but I have experienced frustration multiple times over the years with the guidance or lack of guidance that I received individually as a board member. That was not known to the rest of you all, I'm quite sure, because it was a individual matter that Ms. Shattuck and I talked about. So I don't know if others had that same experience or just what, but I'm trying to play catch up here.
Oh, I'm glad we caught up really quickly. All my emails were read. So what we can do is we can go to a special meeting one day. We'll call a special meeting and we can, I don't know what we're going to talk about, to be honest with you. I'm not going to answer any questions. I mean, I told you some of the issues that I had.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I think each of us as board members has had encounters and conversations with Ms. Shattuck, and those conversations, in my mind, were between the individual board member and the attorney. And I chose to keep those conversations that way. I needed guidance at times, and that's what the board attorney is for. So perhaps we should take the opportunity at the reorg next month for board members that wish to share. We have to vote on it in November. I mean, that's statutory to have the reorg and look at the board attorney contract again. However, I don't know that a reversal of resignation, perhaps that's what we need to be voting on, whether we will accept that resignation or not.
I mean, we can go ahead and vote on the acceptance of the resignation tonight.
No, I think all of this is rushing it.
Rushing it? You had the letter for a month.
Like Ms. Hawley said, can I finish what I'm saying?
Well,
Ms.
yes, ma'am.
Hawley just said, in November, we've got to vote on it anyway, which was wisdom right there. It's going to have to be voted on. We're going to have to discuss it. Just because you want to finalize it tonight, that you're one vote or you're one board member. And that's what you have to keep in mind, even as chairman of this board, that you are one of 5 board members. And so whatever we come up with, all of our comments and remarks are to be respected and to be considered.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm considering, and I hear what you're saying, Dr. Mills, but they resigned. They sent a letter of resignation.
Your letter.
I don't, again, redundant. Okay, they quit. Dr. Mills, I know what you're saying. You know how much I respect you. They quit. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the resignation.
You said, no, I do.
I really think that we should table this and use the wisdom that Mrs. Hawley extended, and we should revisit this in November at the reorganizational meeting. There is no hurry. We have an attorney right here that's on retainer. There is absolutely no hurry. We should do our due diligence, do our due process, and do this right. Right now, it is a hot mess, so we need to make it right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to defer to our interim attorney and ask, when this comes before us, what is the, what avenue do we take? Do we first vote on whether to accept the letter of resignation, or do we vote on,
Well, I understand the dilemma, and again, I've not seen this, but I'm hearing all of your concerns. And when I was in law school, I remember a teacher saying you can't make Frank Sinatra sing. So you could say you don't accept the resignation, but you can't force them to perform. So it'd kind of be nice to know, are they willing to continue or not? And the way I see this is the chairman sent a letter saying what he intended to do, and apparently they said they didn't want to be, I'm thinking for them, and I've known this firm casually for years, good firm, that they didn't want a public discussion. They decided to resign. That's their decision. Now you're having that public discussion a little bit. If you, quote, rescind the resignation, then you don't know whether they're going to accept. I mean, the first thought I keep having is go out and seek proposals. If they're interested, they could put in a proposal again. Or have the conversation next month about the internal issue, which is really separate and apart from them, and maybe more important, frankly, than who you pick as a law firm, is your own internal discussions about it. But again, if they're interested, they could submit a proposal. That might be the cleanest way to do it, and then you're giving everybody a fair shot, including them.
I think mostly my real concern here was saying that something was in behalf of me when I knew nothing about it whatsoever.
You're loud and
That's a
clear.
huge red flag for me. Don't say something is in behalf of me if I know nothing about it.
Dr.
so-
Mills,
so
I
that was-
apologize. That
so-
was the way that I wrote it, and that was my fault.
So that alone could cause the firm to say, oh, the board's already then made their decision. It's on behalf of the board here. He's making this letter known to us, so we just need to probably back out and know. I'm just not about doing things where people are not considered. And our law firm that represented us need to be considered. Now, once we've talked about it, there's no telling what my vote may be on it. But don't disregard me as a board member and say it's okay, and then he can make that decision and make those wheels turn that way without even approaching us as a board and letting us know so that we can get behind him if we felt like we needed to. It's the way it was done. Don't say you're doing anything in Dr. Mills' behalf as a board member, especially something this serious. Be different if you're standing up and making, and you know that we all have the same feeling about something. But when you don't know at all where others are coming from, and this is very important, our representation as attorneys, having attorneys, it's not something that you just flippantly say on behalf of the board, because that makes me think that you want the board, you want the other folks to feel like the board is behind this. And for
Dr.
this.
Mills, did Molly call you and talk to you?
You won't tell me why you made that, you wouldn't tell me what we asked you for, so why would I tell you that?
I think I somewhat did tell you a little bit.
I don't have that type of trust to tell you whether or not I talked with her or not, because you would not tell us under sunshine your reasoning for no longer wanting representation.
I think I did.
No, you didn't.
I said the way that a situation was handled in another county.
That doesn't tell me anything.
Do your research.
I will do my research, and give me the name of the county. That was totally out of order.
Again, we're being redundant. You did nothing wrong. It was not out of order. If Dr. Mills, if you interpreted it that way,
I mean,
that's
just
the
a
way
couple
you-
of months ago, you said
Sir-
your voice
sir,
wasn't heard again.
I like to,
Yeah, go ahead.
if she interpreted that way, Dr. Mills interpreted that, that's not my interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay? If two people that interpreted differently, that's fine. To me, it's a no-brainer. They quit. And I put a motion, I'd like to put a motion that we accept their resignation. They quit. I just, it's a no-brainer. I don't understand.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Seeing none, that motion dies. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into reorg and have this discussion during our reorganization meeting, just like Ms. Holly had suggested. Or we can do it at the workshop in October. The 4th workshop in October. We can have that as a workshop discussion. I would suggest you call Mr. Harmon, Mrs. Richardson, Dr. Mills. You have his phone number. It's on my email, on 2 or 3 of my emails. And you're more than welcome to call. And then we can have this discussion aloud. And then if they want me to talk about it, and I'll do whatever that law firm does. But out of professional courtesy to them, I didn't want to say anything.
Well, I
So-
think it's, you know,
And Ms. Richardson, I'm still talking.
oh, I'm sorry.
And I understand that you have a lot of questions,
Yes.
but I answered to the people of St. Lucie County. And I know you want the details.
I think that we.
You want.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I don't think St. Lucie County really wants the gritty nitty details. And if they want, you're more than welcome to call me, have coffee with me, talk to me, and I will talk to you about it privately. And I don't mind telling people in the community, yeah, there are some issues that I feel uncomfortable about.
You need to share that with the board, not so much at this meeting. I'm not saying now.
Okay, we'll do it at the
That's why
workshop.
I said, not even at a workshop,
And-
under sunshine, but have one of our board meetings that you call for us to have under sunshine, just so that we can make the discussion about this. So
Okay.
we can all have a.
The workshop.
But that's open. Isn't
That's
that
what I'm
open, just
Well,
like
all
this?
of them would be open.
All of them have to be open in
but-
sunshine.
But, like we have our meetings with administration and other sunshine meetings, this is important. This is something that we need to talk about a little bit more. And not that many, anybody can come, but at those meetings,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not a whole lot of people coming.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely. And like I said before, I'm not going to rehash it. We're going to go ahead and move to board member reports.
I need to ask a question of the attorney. Mr. Attorney, we just put a motion before, so in other words, the motion did not pass, all right? We did not accept the resignation. Are they still working for us? You said we can't force them to perform. Are they still, we did not accept the resignation. I know this is, your
No,
answer.
they've resigned. I mean, one other, no, they've resigned. I mean, another option is you could have, and not to put the superintendent in the middle of this, but send a letter that simply says, you may want to watch the school board meeting from, whatever time, 6 o'clock to 6:30. Please advise if you would like to rescind your resignation. Then they can make an informed decision. They can hear all the conversation you all had tonight, and they can decide whether they want to rescind or not. Does that make some kind of sense? That way, someone neutral sending that letter, and they can say, we'd like the opportunity to continue, or no, we would like to, we've submitted our resignation. Does that make sense to anyone? As a way
It
to-
makes sense to
I
me.
still know you have your bigger issue internally, but at least I kind of, out of respect to that firm, give them the chance to say yes or no before you have a debate whether you want to keep them or not. Because if they do or they don't, that might impact that discussion.
It was a rhetorical question, but you gave me some good insight. Thank you. I respect that.
So would you like the superintendent to send them a letter and ask them to watch this and see what they still want to continue to work for us, or see if they want to rescind their resignation, or?
Again, is that a job offer to them to rescind their resignation?
They resigned, and you're obviously having a discussion about whether you want them to continue or not. You know, again,
Mr. Cicivio, I appreciate that, but then in November, I'm going to bring it up and ask to go in a different direction. And I have every right.
Yeah, right. And
So-
we have every right to do what we, and to be informed. We have every right to be informed and then to make our decisions. That didn't happen.
Okay,
And we still don't have any information to make that decision because, again, there were phone calls, there are phone call logs, there are phone calls that we are not privy to. You know, so we are still in the dark. Things happen. And maybe Mr. Harmon can shed some light, maybe, I don't know. You know, so, you know, maybe I will take you up on that. Not maybe I will take you up. I'm a board member, so I will do what's necessary in order to make sure that my vote is valid. So, yes. And again, Mr. Torcivio, it is not necessarily about keeping them or resignation. It's about the fact that Mr. Ingersoll put the cart before the horse.
Clearly,
That's okay, as long as that's
right,
understood.
that's the bigger issue. That's
Okay,
an
the
issue
big
that's
thing,
different.
yes. Okay, there we
That's why,
go.
again, do you want
Okay.
to take that firm out of the mix and find out in or out? And then you need that conversation, obviously, among yourselves as to, I've heard him apologize. I've heard the comments that, you know, don't represent me when you don't represent me, is essentially it. And I think you all made points very eloquently tonight, to tell you the truth.
so as we work through this and massage it a little bit, is it okay if the superintendent sends a letter for them to watch the meeting from 6 o'clock to about this period and to see if they want to rescind their resignation? And then we'll discuss this at the workshop.
At this point, personally speaking, I'm not even going to make any decisions. I think it's something that I need to think about because, again, it has nothing to do, not necessarily, that's like the end result, but that is not the point right now. It's not about the firm, it's about you, Mr. Ingersoll, and what you did. That's, for me, that's what it's about.
Okay, if that's about you, but now we need to worry about the business at hand,
All right, so can I make a comment?
please.
I do believe that we should ask them to rescind their resignation. And then, like you said, bring it back in November. Don't know how the vote will go as far as whether we're going to keep them or not. But I would be fine with the superintendent sending them that letter because they need to know that we're going to work on really making sure that we really consider them in regards to our decision. And based on why they said they were going to resign is where I have a problem. So if they still want to resign after this, what can we do? I mean, I don't like how it went. I don't like what I believe, Jack, was intimidation, you know, and I heard what you said, Jack, in regards to, well, if they get intimidated that easy, do we really want them to represent us? That is something that we have to consider too. But I'm saying that we should let them know, you don't have to do that. If we decide we no longer need I heard even Ms. Hawley mention something about something that went on between them. I think, like I said from the beginning, I don't like how you did it. As the chairman of this board, I don't like how you did not let the other board members, us have a meeting, and we discuss it as a board. It was like as if, okay, I'm the chairman, therefore I can do this, I'm gonna do this, and that's where I have a really big problem. But at this point in time, they may not rescind. You know, I'm gonna personally give somebody a call myself to talk with them, to really try to get at the meat of this a little bit more. But they may decide, you know, we just rather just move on, you know, and know that they have other work in the district that they may be considering in the future. They may, I don't know how it's gonna go now.
I'm glad you did say that because they do work here in the district.
Yeah, and they
So-
want to, and that can be an intimidation too. Well, we just go ahead and resign because we don't want nothing like this coming up. I mean, all of that, just the way, don't ever say in my behalf.
I apologize.
Don't ever do that to
Yes,
me
ma'am.
again.
I did that, and I apologize. So here we are. Again, can the superintendent, I don't want to send a letter that we ask that they resend, but give them an opportunity to watch this and see if they want to.
I think there's two different subjects going on here. One, we have people casting dispersions. I'm sorry to say this. I didn't come down to this, but that it is. With no, everybody has their opinion. Like I said, that's your opinion. My opinion is he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
If that's an agenda item, then make it separate. The other decision is they quit. They quit. That's all. I don't I'm in total.
I understand, Mr. Kelly,
I just
but
don't-
in regards to the other two board members, yeah,
Just let it go, sir. Just let it go to that meeting where we were going to discuss it, and we'll vote on it then, and that's the way it is. Just leave it on the board. I made a motion, it didn't pass, and if they wanted to go on, if that three other members wanted to go, just leave it on the board. That's the way to do it. They can make their phone calls and find out what they want to do, but I'm just telling you, the way I'm voting is because of what they did. Would they quit thinking that they didn't have our, that's what I'm getting, so. But let it go to the next meeting. I think there's nothing else to do. There's no action to be taken. Just let it be on the meeting. That should satisfy everybody. Can we move on?
Again, Mr. Attorney, do we need, since this is on the agenda, item 19.2, does that need to have attention paid to it? Either a
Can you
pass
say-
or a fail on the.
Say
on
that
the
last
motion?
part, I lost your last sentence.
Since this is a voting item on the posted agenda, do we need to take a vote on item 19.2?
Call the question?
Hold on a second. I want to hear what he has to say.
The item on the agenda,
19.2.
19.2.
No, this is it.
Can I make a motion?
Just a second. I want to hear what he
So
has to
this
say.
so there was a recommendation to request HR to advertise for the position of school board attorney. I heard earlier someone, I thought, made a motion to table
To
that.
table it, that's what I make a
Right.
motion to table it.
No, hold on a second here.
Well, I can make a motion to table it.
No, I'm just asking for a moment. Okay. Okay. So what's on here, just for watching the audience, the agenda item in detail says there's a motion, a second to, oh, that's you typing this. Geez. Ay, ay, ay. Meeting, category, description. So there's just a description. Okay.
There's a recommended action, Chairman, on here.
Okay.
And so that is what we were talking about, with tabling that for now.
So again, I heard a motion to table. Was there a second? I don't remember if I heard a second or not.
Second.
Discussion?
And if I could just clarify, it was to table till your November meeting?
No, it's to table the request, having the superintendent to request the Human Resource Department to advertise for the position of school board attorney at this time.
Right, but were you tabling that till the November meeting for discussion
Tabling
then?
it.
Okay,
Sir.
that's what I thought. I thought you were tabling it till November's reorganization meeting. Okay.
Discussion? Does anyone else have discussion besides me? My only thing is I think we should do it at the workshop in October. So that way if it goes the way we need it to, if it goes a certain way, that we can go ahead and either keep them as a law firm or start the process with the HR department and getting a new legal advice.
So if it goes the way we need it to go, then what happens?
We do it in October, our October workshop, rather than waiting until November.
So I guess, Mike, I'm sorry, Dr. Mitz, go ahead.
We would normally wait till November. So we're going to have to go through, I know what you want to get another attorney or firm in their place if it doesn't go where we vote to keep them.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but as Ms. Hawley mentioned, we do this in November. Let's just go through the process of whatever we need to go through in November.
Sir, I'm going to support that motion to do that. It's the same thing as what I'm saying. Let's just move on, and we were going to have to do that anyways. We didn't accept the resignation. So I agree with you, Dr. Mills. I will support that motion.
Okay, so I have a second, or wait, we've already have a motion and a second by Mrs. Richardson that we're going to have this discussion at our reorganization meeting in November. Okay? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. School board members report. Mrs. Richardson?
You know, I think we've had enough, so I don't have a report today.
Mr. Kelly?
I just want to thank the Van Duzer organization for the, I call it the pizza book thing. And maybe our superintendent can explain it better, but it's a good thing. My Lions Club had donated a good donation to it today, and I think it's a great thing for the kids. I don't understand it as good. I know you helped out with it, and I'm proud of you for going down there and promoting it, sir. And thank you, Mr. Van Duzer and the Van Duzer Foundation. That's all I got.
Mrs. Hawley?
Yes, just an informational item for the board. I was in Gainesville last week with the Florida School Board Association and the Legislative Committee, and a platform was developed using all 67 districts in Florida, and that platform will be coming to each of you, so I just watch your emails because we will need to take action on it probably at our November meeting since the session is starting so much earlier this year in Tallahassee. Just please watch your emails for that.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Dr. Mills?
I wanted to mention to Miss Martha and Miss Mary, our longtime bus drivers. I guess you ladies have been with us for what, 30 years plus?
48.
I didn't want to say 40. I was thinking that in my mind, but many, many years ago, I drove school bus here for St. Lucie County Public Schools, and I lasted for 1 year. 1 year, and I said if they didn't make me a permanent driver in 1 year, because I was a substitute, so I had all these different buses and routes that I had to deal with, and I'm telling you, it was work. It was, I had to pray on that bus before seriously. The thing, it was like, so I understand what you're saying. I don't need to drive a bus because I drove a bus, okay? I know what you go through. And we all have our jobs. Thank God for you ladies and other bus drivers who are committed to doing what you do year after year after year. And know this, that we want to do the best we can. Our money come from legislators. Our money come from Tallahassee. And so we do have a certain amount that we've put here, we put there that we need to deal with. But you ladies and the rest of the bus drivers deserve a lot more. And I agree with you. I was a driver. I understand what you're saying. The other thing that I want to kind of boast about, I guess, is that I'm a volunteer at one of our schools now. And I started about a month ago, and I'm in the classroom with our deaf children. And my goodness, what an experience. I'm currently taking classes, sign language classes at IRSC. And so I'm volunteering with the deaf. And I'm telling you, if you haven't done it, volunteer somewhere doing something, because our kids are wonderful, and I'm just in love with those classes now. They're my babies. The teachers, and you know what? The teachers are absolutely amazing, because the kids come in and they hadn't been in any classes or no type of schools. And you know, like we hear the story of Helen Keller, they come in like that. And these teachers that I'm working with and volunteering, they transform these children, absolutely transform them and educate them and prove that these children can learn, and they can learn well. So I'm kind of just love it. I love what I'm doing. I'm through.
Well, thank you. It's been a great day, and I'm going to go ahead and conclude this meeting. Thank you so much.